Hey Ramley, this is Gigi, class of 2017.
Hey, I'm E, class of 2021.
And I'm Jamar with 2 R's, class of 2012.
And this is Beyond the Degree, the Recent Grad Council podcast. On today's episode, we are going to talk about brand new you, branding yourself. Who am I now? Building your identity after college. So I want to start with, who are you, or who were you after coming out of college?
So I do feel like I've changed a lot, and I feel like I wasn't necessarily anticipating those changes after graduation. And I also didn't know how to talk about myself really once I got out of school. So I knew I was, because like the main question that we're asked when we're in school, what's your major? What's your major? And so then once you're no longer a student, it's like, okay, I'm a psych graduate, trying to get a job. And I think for me, I wasn't really sure what branding myself was. I thought having the degree was enough to get the jobs and to get the experiences. And that wasn't necessarily the case, which is why I ended up going back to school a whole bunch of times. So I think I know better how to brand myself now, but then I didn't really know what to do.
I'm with you on the not know what to do. I was definitely loosey-goosey, and I tried a lot of things, and that's why I guess I decided to just stick with my major just being business. Like, it wasn't administration, it was business. So I took marketing, I took creative advertising, I took Italian cinema, I took anthropology, I took real estate. I was all over the place. And I was just kind of just feeling it out. And I think also during that time, just trying to learn how to navigate in the professional realm and learning how to, I wouldn't say, sell myself, pitch myself, be able to show where my value lied. And I think, during a lot of interviews and going to those beloved career fairs, I learned a lot about myself, especially with branding as well.
I think for me, branding, I definitely did not understand at first. My circumstances were a little different. So in the middle of with education background, in the middle of going through student teaching, so I am paired with a teacher and I am teaching for about maybe like 3 months or so. I was pulled and asked to interview. So did not have my degree at all. But there were vacancies in schools. And so I was one that they pulled and said, hey, we want you to interview. We know that you're not done, with your degree. However, we want you to interview, start teaching, and then come back and graduate. So for me, that was really different. It was my identity. I was in an identity crisis and loss because I was supposed to be a student finishing up my degree with my friends, hanging out on the weekends, staying up late, studying. And then it goes from, you're still attending these classes, but now you're teaching 25 first graders from 8 to like 3:30. And so that was a big shock for me, and just trying to figure out who I am. I was definitely in a crisis.
Now, it's definitely a shift. It's an emotional shift from student to professional, and talking about how to be intentional. And also, I think during that time when you're branding yourself, you also have to learn how to sacrifice and let go of some things. And I found myself very casual. I still am, but professionally casual. And I think that definitely, added to my process, and like the value and the values that I've learned, now.
When you say professionally casual, like, what do you mean?
When I say professionally casual, I mean, it's kind of like a relaxed energy, but yet I still want to be intentional, and I still want to be attentive. And I think when it came to branding myself, I was like, okay, well, what is it that I'm good at? And I think naturally I am a bit of just a conversationalist. And I kind of use that skill to work with my peers and leadership and things like that. So,
Well, maybe that's part of your brand, right? That like laid back, relaxed. And I think sometimes we think a professional brand needs to only be one thing or be one way.
Yes.
And I'm only now feeling better about showing up to work as myself and not overextending myself to make other people feel more comfortable or breaking my own boundaries so that other people feel better. Like, I think we have to figure out what our personal and professional brands are so that we know how to show up in a space. If a space is a place we actually want to be, like it takes time. I definitely, like we talked about, didn't know that right after graduation.
Oh, yeah.
I learned that after experience and lots of interviews and lots of different workplaces. Like it took me a while.
Yeah. And I think I learned that like 3 months ago.
It takes a long time.
And I think, one thing that I'm learning is now I kind of feel, so I have different types of branding for myself. And you get the Janita branding based on the situation, the environment, the people present. And it's not that I am not showing up as my authentic self, but you get access to see this side of Janita. You get access to see, the goofy, silly side, or you may just see the professional business side, or you may see the mommy side, or you may see the faith side. So I think that it's all based on, the scenario, the situation, and we can have various brands as our identities.
Y'all said something about like being yourself, and I learned to be me, but be me professionally. Because the one thing I learned is if I go in there with a mask and a facade, I'm always going to have to keep it up. And I think when I came into my first like professional big boy job, I was very what's the word? I guess uptight, and I was afraid to kind of like really show myself. Like you think about it, on these hot days, I was suited and booted, and I didn't, like want to wear collar shirts because I was afraid, like, oh, they're gonna, think that I'm crazy, or they're gonna judge me because of the majority of tattoos on my body. And then just one day, I was like, you know what? I have to relax, and I realized that, when I did that, and I was vulnerable. People received me, and I was able to kind of flourish more once I realized like I got in my groove and I was comfortable, and I have to worry about being so tense and hiding all these things, my decisions, I had to put them out there, and it was received well.
It's like freeing. And can you imagine too, maybe the amount of people that you also freed because they saw you in your element, you comfortable, you being your authentic self, and they were like, wow, like he's doing that. I now feel brave to do that as well.
Wow. Yeah, that's pretty good.
I got a little wisdom.
Yeah, I think the tricky thing, so I definitely had an identity crisis after graduation too, because I kind of only knew how to be a student. I didn't know how to show up in other spaces as myself as much, especially like professional spaces. I didn't really know how to do that.
Right.
So the idea that we can be ourselves and free other people, that's huge. I'm still working on that.
Yeah, I think that's the thing too. Like, I don't think we have that one identity, project manager, chief museum buyer, doctor. Like, we are many facets of things, and we have to be okay with saying that. You know what I mean? I'm just not a student. Like, we like to watch whatever we like to watch, or we like to do whatever it is that we like to do. And that's a part of our identity. We're not just one thing. And I think we're okay. We have to learn how to be okay and comfortable with being those many things. I think sometimes people look at you, and I've noticed that, like, they may try to put you in the box. What are you, a hipster or a rapper, or, they always try to put you in that box. And I think you have to learn how to determine who you are, and I think with branding, that is that self-determination, figuring out who you want to be, right? And also who you don't want to be, right?
I think sometimes we even put ourselves in boxes.
Oh, yeah.
And that was part of where I got stuck after graduation too. It was like, I'm a psych major. What are my other options and paths? Like when you stick into one box, when you're stuck in that one brand, you don't really notice or think about all the other paths and opportunities that you can take advantage of.
Listen.
So sometimes it's changing even how we speak about ourselves, so other people can see that in us too, and we can, get those connections, have those opportunities. Sometimes it's speaking it and then seeing it too.
I think in order for you to be able to pivot and also be agile, you got to learn how to take on different types of skins, man. I remember an interview that I did. It was the wildest question. They said, if you were a cartoon character, which one would you be? And I was like, I thought about it for a second, and I was like, oh, you know what? I used to watch this show. Shout out to the geeks out there, Teen Titans on Cartoon Network, and I loved Beast Boy because he could change into anything. He could be an elephant, he could be a gorilla, he could be a lion, he could be anything, and he was able to kind of like naturally change into that. And so I think like agility is so key, and we have to learn how to just let go of this idea of perfection and kind of go through that. What is it? Have you heard that term? It's a Japanese term, wabi sabi.
Yes.
And I
keep
learned
seeing
about
it on
that.
TikTok.
My son is walking around wabi sabi, wabi sabi, and I looked it up actually, and it's about embracing the imperfections. You know what I mean? It's about embracing when we mess up, or maybe when we stutter, we misspeak, we trip, we fall, and finding the beauty in those imperfections, in our blemishes, in our scars, and things like that. And I think when we learn how to let go and embrace that, there will be some type of like impact.
That could be part of our brand too.
Yeah.
Showing
Evolving.
up flawed. Yeah.
Yeah, and evolving. And I think going from 20s to 30s, there's huge evolution.
Oh my gosh.
Just thinking of like how identity evolves between your 20s and 30s is crazy. I mean, going from, a college student to now being full-time employed to being, a lot of people maybe coming out single, or to finding partners, marriage, children. Like, your identity is constantly changing, and you're having to adjust to those changes in who you now are, while also, going through the, I don't want to say grief necessarily, but like who you were. That's all a big part of it. And so that's something that, like, I know for me was really, really something that I went through.
And we got to talk about that more, like letting go of that old self, and I think that's maturity right there, and I feel like I had to do the same thing. My perception of life was kind of skewed as a 20-year-old, and then, as I was moving into my 30s, I don't want to say I really started appreciating more things, the smaller things, and again, spending more time in reflection and appreciating life, even the things that aren't so great, the triumphs and the tragedies, which are, some can be the same if you think about it. I have a thought, because I'm thinking about like a lot of people who are watching this, and they may be entering that change right now, where they're getting ready to graduate and, go out into that world. What is it that we want to say to them about their branding when they're going in there, shaking the hands and making those plans? Like, what would y'all tell them,
Let's see.
Did I put you on the spot?
No, that's a good question. Thinking, what would I have wanted someone to tell me walking in? One thing is that you don't have to be perfect. You do not have to have it all figured out. Things are going to be hiccups. I won't say there will never be failures, but lessons learned, and it's how you pick yourself up, how you grow from what you've gone through, and how you move forward. That will really be the trajectory of everything.
I think I would also say it's okay if you're interested in more than one thing.
Hello.
I think that was so hard for me, and still is. I have so many interests, and it feels like, again, I need to box myself in order to move forward. But I think if we box ourselves in, we also limit our brand.
Yes.
And there's so many other things that we could be doing. So it's okay to have lots of interests. It's okay to try to pursue them and see what's on the other side of them.
Yeah.
Give yourself that space to have your personal brand be showing up flawed, not being perfect, as you're figuring out what your next steps might look like.
Exploration. Absolutely.
It's crazy because like back when I was in college eons ago, I had this idea of like just being strictly a creative, and that was going to be my realm. And then it's so funny now because I find myself more on the strategic side. But during that time of me, like, you know, building that brand, I tried so many stuff, you know, and I thought about what worked and what didn't work, what I liked, what I didn't like, what I kept and what I left behind. And, you know, I advise those folks that are going through that to continue to just keep trying things, you know, and you can do it for free, whether it's a volunteer situation, but just try to find ways to align yourself with those people that you may find interest in. And, you know, because I don't know, you'll learn more about it. And that's the one thing I realized is like those things that make glitter are not necessarily all that great. You know, I interned in the entertainment industry for a little bit, and I was so excited. I was like, I want to be the next Marty Marr, the next Martin Payne. You know what I'm saying? And then when I got in there, I was like, man, I don't know. I really don't know if this is for me, if I can really thrive in this type of environment.
Yeah.
But I tried it, you know, and I learned, and I want to be able to kind of share that experience and that wisdom for those folks. So just try it, man, you know.
It's okay to try different things. And I also think that when we allow ourselves to pivot, when we allow ourselves to build our own brand, like even hearing both of y'all's stories and knowing mine, if we had stayed with one personal brand, with one professional brand, right, it's very possible we wouldn't be sitting where we are right now.
Right.
Yeah.
If we had
That's true.
stuck to one path instead of explored things, instead of embraced pivots, what would our brands would we even be sitting here, you know? It's like we have to just let it go sometimes. Figure it
And I
out.
think it also is about keeping an open mind, because this opportunity and, you know, even the recent grad council kind of came to me, and I was like, I don't know, you know, I'm not sure, but you know, after just, you know, years of experience, I was like, I don't want to put all my eggs in one basket, as you say. I don't want to be closed off. So, you know, I tried it and it just flowed. And I think sometimes naturally, like, we can procrastinate and say, I don't like this thing. I'm going to hate it. It's going to be terrible. I'm not going to start it. I'm not going to do it. But it's funny because there's times where you dread that thing and then you do it and you're like, yo, this ain't even that bad. Like, it's not that bad. And I'm actually good at this. So keep an open mind is one thing. Another thing that I would say, like, for real.
And just speaking of career pivots, VCU Career Services. You guys have access to them a year after graduating. They help with resumes, cover letters, essays, interview skills, and like I said, career pivots.
Use your resources, y'all. Use your resources. So we're getting ready to land the plane again, and we thank y'all for tuning in with us. I know we got some big things coming up. Homecoming. We're gonna be doing a live podcast.
I'm nervous, but I'm excited.
I know, right?
It's gonna be
It's
fire.
so fun.
It's gonna be fire. I think it's gonna be a good time. So stay tuned for that, y'all, and thank y'all for just coming to park yourselves and ride with us for a little bit.